Hi, I'm Peter Whittle. Now, you might remember that on So What You're Saying Is some months back, we had Dr. David Starkey as a guest. It was quite something. It's had 250,000 views. He was a fantastic guest. So I'm thrilled to say that he's going to be coming back, not on this show, but he's going to be giving the New Culture Forum Smith Lecture for 2019. This lecture is one that we've had for the past 2 years. Our first speaker was Douglas Murray, who's also been on the show, and also the second one last year was Nigel Farage. So we're thrilled that this year, particularly in election year, we have the constitutional historian David Starkey. It's on December the 9th in London. You can get tickets very easily by going to our website, which is newcultureforum.org.uk, or direct to Eventbrite, or just click on this link below. And as a special gift to you at Christmas, if you put in this code, then you'll get a discount. If you put in Smith19 onto the Eventbrite site, then you'll get a £5 discount on the tickets. It should be a great evening. It's actually just 3 days before the general election, and knowing David Starkey, he will be very, very interesting and probably controversial. So I do hope you can join us. It'll be a way as well of us meeting you, you meeting us, and growing as well the family of the New Culture Forum. So thanks very much, and I do hope to see you there on December the 9th.
The idea, which is being pursued hotly by the Legion of Remainers headed by Centurion Burko, is that parliamentary sovereignty can be used to deny national sovereignty. It's an absurd contradiction. Parliamentary sovereignty only makes sense within the notion of a sovereign independent state. Otherwise, it's meaningless verbiage. And again, of course, it highlights the fact that the doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty long predates democracy, and that the great crisis in Britain is that we've never worked out what the relationship between an idea of popular sovereignty and parliamentary sovereignty is, which was, of course, exposed with brutal effectiveness by the Brexit referendum. If you look at the derision in which Parliament is held, I mean, first the expenses scandal, then the scandal of the deliberate traducing of the verdict of the referendum, the behaviour of the Speaker, the clownishness of the Speaker, who looks like au bourgeois, wearing a black gown, the performance of easily the most incompetent Premier we've ever had, and the most undesirable leader of the opposition.
As an historian, I know you don't like maybe looking at the future and saying, oh, this will happen, that will happen, but
I don't at all.
No, but this, therefore, is an extraordinary time of our history.
It is. I think it's the moment at which two things have happened. I think the Constitution as it emerged from the Glorious Revolution is manifestly finished. It stopped working. You could argue equally that that notion of constitutional development from Magna Carta itself has also come to an end.
Really?
I mean, you've got to ask the question, how is it that broadly we've avoided revolution? Why have we avoided revolution? Because in England, and we really should talk about it, it's the English Parliament that's just got a few bells and whistles stuck onto it. In England, the position of those wanting a place in the sun, wanting admission to the political elite, first the entrepreneur and the rich outside the charm circle of the aristocracy and the gentry, then the skilled worker, then women, and the whole thing. Every one of them didn't want to do what was the case in France or continental Europe. You didn't want to tear down the existing structures. You wanted a place in them. So radicalism in England was a campaign for parliamentary representation. You didn't want to destroy Parliament, you wanted a place in it. And I think that what's happened with the referendum is the first time that Parliament has consciously and deliberately, and led by its Speaker and by its leading MPs, consciously reversed the notion of representation. And it seems to me to be an act of unprecedented folly, And you look at some of those involved, they're supposedly quite serious people. I don't think Burke's. I used to think Dominic Grieve was. But it's a sort of act of institutional suicide.